out your batting scraps. This is usually how I store my batting scraps, in one big huge pile, and it's a mess. Batting scraps come from cutoffs or trims from a quilt that you know, you're going to bind, and you don't need all this extra batting. So you trim it down and you end up with, you know, a good 6-inch piece. And I just keep them in a pile in a box until I need them later. When do I need them? When I have got a project or a quilt that I don't want to either cut out of huge piece because the quilt isn't very big, or I don't want to, or my piece just is just a little bit shy. And so I've got a project right now that my batting is just a little bit shy, and so it's not working, and I need to add to it. So what you want to do is set your sewing machine to an extra large zigzag. You want that zigzag to be very wide, and you can make the stitches long. You don't need them to be small or anything. So I think I've got my stitches set to 3.5. So anyways, so what you're first going to do is take your batting and butt them right up to each other. If you overlap, it's okay, but you'll feel that there's a big old bump, and sometimes that's a little frustrating when you have a quilt and you don't want to feel bumps. All right, I zoomed it forward so you can see a little bit better what the process is. So I'm going to take a couple stitches and make sure that it's feeding into the machine properly. If you want to use a walking foot, you can. What you want to make sure is that your zigzag is large enough that it catches both sides. Otherwise, it'll leave little holes and stuff. But anyway, so this is just big enough, and it's feeding it just fine. So I can just continue on until I get to the end. Do a little back stitch there, and then pull it off. And I'll show you a little up close as to what it looks like. So this is the zigzag. If you can see, that seam right there is held together by a zigzag stitch. Now it's fairly secure. It's not going to move anywhere. It's going to stay in its place, and it's going to allow me to, I've got this little piece together, so now my piece is long enough, and then I can sew along this and attach it to another larger piece of batting. So that is how you use your batting scraps and make your own batting into the size that you need.